So now we have the parts of a speaker. So, first of all, what parts are there? There's the basket, the speaker itself, or the body, the cone, the spider, the voice coil, the magnetic structure, and the dust cap. But well, more on this later. So this is it, the speaker in action. Well, what is it, you ask? How does this work? Well, I'm here to explain it. On the bottom, let's just take a look. At the bottom, there's a magnet on the bottom, which consists of an equal mix of the South Pole and the North Pole, which is 50% the South Pole, which is stacked on two, which is divided in half. There's a little line, if you put a little line in the middle, the top half is the South Pole, and the bottom half is the North Pole. In the middle, it's not even a magnet. In fact, it's just a block of metal. And if you know how electromagnets work, when an electromagnetic field or when electricity passes through it, which is wrapped around with a coil, it turns into a magnet. And that is just how the principles of these speakers work. As you can see, there's the plus and the negative. What this means is that there's the North Pole and the South Pole. And this is represented into an electromagnetic. This is represented into current. If you go through this current, this makes a positive, the North Pole. And if you go through this one, this is the South Pole, just for an example. And when a current travels through each of these wires, it's not even represented in sound. For example, the waves, there's waves, okay? And when the waves travel through each and every one of those wires, it causes the magnet on the bottom to repel or retract the magnet, which causes a vibration. And this vibration is amplified by the diaphragm, which is made into a higher fidelity of noise by the spider, which basically compresses the noise and only takes the clean bits out of it. And the suspension is basically the suspension. Why don't we use springs, for example? Why don't we use springs for the suspension? Well, it doesn't really conduct sound waves. And paper is the best material for this, the springs. So the suspension is basically which makes the whole thing to vibrate, which causes the speaker to vibrate. And the bigger the diaphragm, the more sound it will produce. And basically, that's how it works. And the dust cap is to prevent dust from falling into the speaker. The basket is basically the outer edges of it's basically the body of the speaker. And yes, that's basically it. And what's the difference between a high quality and low quality sound? Okay, let's say if you ask me, what's the difference between a $5 speaker and a $500 speaker? If it's the same thing, I will be explaining in the next clip. Well, if you didn't understand that, here's a simpler one. There's a electromagnetic bronze, or let's just say, this is a photo. I don't think it's really clear because it was pretty old, but here it is. So there's a wire here, and it connects to another wire, which is kind of cut off. But as you can see, there's an electromagnetic strip, which is bronze, or basically copper. It can be anything. Most likely metal is preferred, any type of metal. And on top is a magnet. This is a simple one. When the frequency or the electricity which carries the signal of the music, when it comes in contact with the magnet, it basically repels and attracts it, which causes the cardboard to vibrate. Because, for example, when something is pushing something, when the magnet is constantly pushing and repelling the wire with the electromagnetic symbol, the cardboard thing will vibrate, which will cause some noise. And yeah, this is basically a simpler version of how a speaker works. So here we have a look inside the AirPods Max, or the so-called $600 overpriced headphones. Well, what's the difference between the $5 headphones and $500 headphones? Well, it's mostly the sound stage, the noise canceling, the materials it's made of, comfortability, and most importantly, the noise canceling chip. So, for comfortability, it looks like they have a high quality, high fiber material of cloth and some other type of secret thing they haven't told us. All we know for sure is that it's better than leather and it has high breathability. And as you can see here, there's the speaker itself, which looks very small. And it's probably the same speaker you could see in a $300 pair of headphones. But what's the difference? Well, it's the material. The magnet is probably some really expensive magnet they found at the bottom of the earth. The plastic, well, it's not even probably plastic. It's probably some secret Apple material they haven't told us, so people can't copy them. The soundstage, which is represented by the two small plastic things on the top, which is, well, really complicated to explain, and I'm not a physics professor, but that's the soundstage. It's on the top. What it does is that it basically is, well, an extra speaker. It's not really a speaker, it's basically an amplifier, and it basically amplifies the sound that comes from the speaker into specific levels. Like the top is the bass, the bottom is the treble, and the middle is whatever. So it basically sectionizes the different parts of the sound. That's what it basically does. On the bottom, you could see this little, I don't know, this bunch of computer stuff. And that's most likely the noise canceling chip. And well, I will tell you more about noise canceling later in the next section. And there's a chip for it, which basically decompresses. Okay, that's for the next part. And also, most importantly, the looks, because most people would buy $600 headphones just so they could tell other people that they're rich. And well, on the back we have a specific type of metal. This is most likely comprised of Kevlar, and again, some other secret Apple metal, which is most likely titanium, because it really helps with high fidelity noise and, well, basically just making the headphones more durable. So yes, that's it. And that's basically the more expensive ones. So here it is, the side-by-side comparison. These are most likely some $5 headphones you'd probably pick up at your dollar store, maybe even not dollar store. And here are the $500 headphones, maybe even $600 with tax. And well, as you can see, when you compare to this, the bottom, there's the ear cup, which is the same here, which is probably some other really cheap material. There's no what is it called? The compressor or whatever it is. There's no this thing in the middle. I don't know what that is, but it's most likely is the magnet, so you could just take off the ear cup and replace it with a new $69 ear cup, which you can only buy from the Apple store. And so, well, basically, yes. There's no detachability. There's the speaker, and well, if you can see in the back, there's no extremely high grade Apple secret metal in there, except instead of that, there's some plastic, and well, there's a little wire there, and I don't think I can see that here. So basically, that's it. There's no sound stage. There's basically no the other half. There's no sound stage. There's no noise canceling, because basically there's only the back cover. There's none of this in the back, and most likely there isn't some extremely high grade found bottom of the earth type of speaker. There's probably some cheap speaker that probably comes from China or something. So yeah, that's basically the difference, and there's no noise canceling, which will be explained in the end of the video. Thank you. So, now back to noise canceling. As you can see, well, a wire. It's not really a wire, it's basically something I found in a little system. But anyways, this is a frequency, or this is basically a speaker which emits a wave. This is a sound wave. And, well, let's say you're at a cafe. You'll have multiple of these, everywhere. You have multiple of these waves everywhere. Some big, some small, some everywhere. And what noise canceling does is basically reverses the wave, basically reverses the frequency wave, so it cancels it. So if you put these two together, you will get something which looks like this. And well, this is a close-up. And what as you can see, for every up, there's a down on the other side. For every up here, there's a down. So basically, it takes out the outside waves from using the microphone headphones, and it uses the chip, which is basically a processor which is based on how fast it detects the noise, makes a reverse noise to cancel it. So to our ears, it would be one straight line in the middle when you put it both together. And well, what's the difference between $50 noise canceling headphones and, $300 noise canceling headphones? Well, you can see on the next part here. So here it is. Here it is. So these are both 700s, which retail for $350, and you can get them for like $330. And these are the Monoprice BT, something I found for $30. And here, what the difference here is, there's a microphone. There's 3 microphones on each side. And this one, it only has 1 microphone. So that's in the factor at play too. And well, there's also the chip, which basically is, like I said, the processor, and it's basically how fast the headphones can detect a noise using the microphones, which really help the processor or the H1 chip or the chip inside it, the noise canceling chip. It helps. The more microphones there are, the more it helps for the chip inside to make the reverse noise to cancel it out. And sometimes the main difference between these two is not only the microphones, but also the chip inside. The Bose 700s would have a higher processor, or more, I don't know, like a higher processor clock or a more expensive processor noise canceling chip than these. These will just have traditional microphone, and these will just have a traditional chip, which doesn't really have any of these extra gadgets and stuff. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you don't like it, please tell me. I'd like to see. But yeah, thanks for watching.